good evening, rally friends. Sorry, Colin, I gave it a go.
You gave it a go. You missed out one very important word.
What's that?
Well, good evening, DirtFish.
Oh, yeah.
Rally friends. Listen, as you could probably tell from our opening shot there, we have, we're kind of squatting, aren't we, David? We're squatting in this wonderful Pirelli unit.
Yep.
And why is it here?
Squatting. Why is it here? It's here because Pirelli returns to WRC, Colin, next year. First year of a 4-year control tyre supply deal. So yeah, and they're here they launched their tyres on Thursday. What day are we on today?
We are on Saturday, yeah.
Crikey. So yeah, we were here Thursday for the launch of the tyres. The full range behind us. Have you felt that hard?
Yeah, I have.
Sorry. The hard tyre is remarkably hard.
Solid.
Solid.
Yeah,
Very solid.
It is. Yeah, it is great. Great to see Pirelli. Well, you know, I keep saying this and making this very same mistake. Great to see Pirelli back in the championship.
They've never
David, they never left.
They never
left.
They left very briefly, didn't they? But can't remember exactly the year. But I think Anthony Peacock would be able to tell us, wouldn't he?
Well, he would.
Yeah.
Anthony Peacock is a man that's been associated with Pirelli for a very long time. He's a very good friend of David's and a friend of mine as well.
Yeah.
But anyway, a big thank you to Pirelli for allowing us to use their facilities. They actually made us some coffee as well. They've just cleared away the coffee mugs, which was very kind of them too, David. We've been drinking a little bit too much coffee today, but that is because we've been watching with fascination the battle that's been raging. Really a couple of battles, but I think we'll talk first about that battle between Ogier and Neuville. I'll tell you what I found quite remarkable. We had 2 loops of stages. We had 2 tyre choices. On both loops, the drivers chose different tyre strategies.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, there were mere seconds between them over the loop. It's quite astonishing, really.
Absolutely. We've said this time and again, haven't we? You know, that you can choose, you can cross the medium and the hard tyre on different axles and blah, blah, blah. All of these different connotations with tyres, and you come out with times that split by seconds, tenths of seconds. It is remarkable. We've said it time and again here, you know, in Sardinia before. But for me, you know, the fascinating part of this battle is still to come. You know, tomorrow, it's 1.5 seconds.
Yeah.
And as you said to Thierry back there at the media zone, they've been here before. You know, there's history between these two.
And from Thierry's point of view, David, this is less than half of what he had to make up just, 2 years ago when he was in that wonderful battle for the win. Now, this may or may not turn out to be a battle for the win, but it is again a battle between Ogier and Neuville going into what is more or less an identical final loop of stages here. There was 3.4, 3.5 seconds between them 2 years ago, and Neuville, you know, famously overhauled Sébastien Ogier. A lot less to do, but it's a different situation, as Ogier said. He's in the cars, they're in different cars this time around, certainly Ogier is.
That, to me, it doesn't matter, you know, the situation is exactly the same. You know, they're both fighting for what we really, you know, we've both danced around this because we don't really understand how it can work, the mathematics of the job and all of that. What will Hyundai do tomorrow? If Thierry beats Ogier, if he gets that second place, if it's less than 10 seconds, our thinking is the smallest penalty they could incur is a 10-second penalty.
Yeah, and it's too short a stage. There are no splits in the cars. They can't manage that swap in the stage. It has to be out of the stage somehow.
It has to be after the power stage.
Yeah.
And you know,
here's something though, David. Here's something. What we need to work out is what are the differences, the start differences, going into the power stage.
This is the whole thing.
Possible. It is possible because it's only a 7K stage.
No, he couldn't be at the finish before he knew exactly what time. He couldn't be. He couldn't because they will be running.
He'll be third going into that stage. It is very possible. It is very possible that if he is the third last driver, if Neuville is the third last driver, it is very possible there will be 5 or 6 minutes between Neuville finishing and Sordo starting. So that is something that we'll have to watch for tomorrow. It is possible he could get a target time from the team and they could manage it in the stage. You're looking as if I am talking absolute gibberish.
No, genuinely, this time I'm surprised.
Here's what helps.
Actually, what really
surprises
me is that you're actually talking sense.
It's the short stage that makes this possible. If it was what was the stage in Turkey? 20 odd Ks the power stage.
No, this is a short one. I
Less
hadn't
than
thought
7
of that.
Ks.
But you know, it would have to be a really snap decision from the team. But
No,
you know,
it won't be a snap decision.
No,
the decision
it'd
will be made in the morning.
mathematics would have to be incredibly precise, incredibly
Simple
quickly.
to do.
It's not, because you've got to calculate when you get that one time and you
What they don't know is Ogier's time.
Exactly, and you then don't know the gap, and you then immediately got to give them a target time, and that target time is going to be specific within potentially tenths of seconds.
As I often do, I think I was oversimplifying it.
But the actual principle is correct, that actually they may be able to give them a target time from the start.
We have seen 5-minute gaps, by the way, before between the penultimate car and the winning car. We often get that, really to allow the TV to make a big thing of the winner. That'll be something that I'm absolutely certain that Toyota will be absolutely keen on tomorrow. They'll be on top of that situation and saying, guys, you can't give them a 5-minute gap, 4 or 5-minute gap, because it may give them the opportunity.
The stage is a stage-managed production, isn't it?
It is.
You know, it's made for television.
Yeah.
And really, the teams I wouldn't have thought they'd have that much
excited, David.
influence.
Can you tell I'm excited?
Massively excited.
Yeah.
Yep,
But
fundamentally,
the moral question. The moral question.
No, it's not a moral question. It's a sporting question.
Sporting
and
morals.
Of course
Sporting morals. It's a moral question.
It's
Sporting
not a
morals.
moral question.
Yes, it is.
It's a sensible, it's a sensible decision to turn them around. You know, if they have the opportunity, Thierry is pushing for a championship. You know, this.
I agree.
Well, this
I
very
agree.
place in 2009, we saw Malcolm take the decision not to turn Latvala and Hirvonen around.
That's correct.
And he lost the championship by a point, Mikko.
I mean, that was the same year that Latvala stuffed it into the arm, caught in the Super Special in Poland.
Yeah,
You're giving Sebastian Loeb
absolutely, yes. Yeah, but technically, he could have turned them around here.
Yeah.
So you have to be brave. And we said to Adamo tonight, he is the man that has never shied away from a difficult decision, and he won't. And, you know, he immediately hit us back with a load of scenarios about starting positions, running order. We don't have a clue. That's rocket science to us. But, you know, Alain Panas and Andrea will be looking. They'll have a huge chart and loads of numbers, and they'll work out exactly. They'll manipulate potentially the running order.
This is my question now to you. Tanak would argue that he is still in with a chance of winning the championship. Is that realistic?
Given there are two more.
Telephone.
It is. I'm terribly sorry. Let me just get rid of that, Colin.
Yes, get rid of that.
And
you've got into trouble for your telephone on these little kitchen tables before. I thought you'd learned your lesson.
We are waiting for some reasonably urgent news.
Yeah.
We're waiting to find out Oliver Solberg, who was leading. Was he leading?
No, he was in it. Yeah, he was actually just taking the lead back, I think. But anyway, going back to the manipulation.
On the phone.
Was it Peter Solberg? Have you hung up on Peter Solberg?
Peter, I'm very
sorry.
sorry.
My word. Listen, we have seen the Hyundai strategists, and it's not just Adamo. You know, there's a whole team of strategists there using drivers within their team, within their stable, who are out of the running to manipulate
the question was about
Tanak. But Tanak and Loubet are potentially two drivers that could be used to benefit either, probably more likely, Neuville or Sordo tomorrow. I don't know how, because I'm not clever enough.
No, we're not clever enough, but I think they will. I have no doubt. And ultimately, there is also Huttinen, who is...
How can he's in an R5 car? How can you do that? He's miles down from the start.
It doesn't matter what car you're in. You can still manipulate positions, can't you? But he's not. Is Huttinen not? It's Tanak, Loubet, Huttinen. Huttinen's now leading.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, so he's quite. Yeah, he could be.
Because I did a bit of maths here and worked out.
That's always scary. It's always scary.
Stay on the line caller here. The nearest non-Hyundai rival to Tanak is I thought I'd written the number down. Quite a long way back. I think he might be 5 or 6 minutes. But the reason I did that was because we talked to Oit. Stop laughing at me. We talked to Oit there about power stage. He incurred the wrath of Tommy Mäkinen in Turkey when he drove incredibly slowly through the morning stages to save the tyres. He could do that again. That was where I looked. He could do that again tomorrow. He can ship.
He didn't do that. Minutes. The other thing he did, which is really interesting, is he went into that stage. Remember the second running of stage 9 as it was stage 11.
And
pulled over to give a 6-minute gap effectively between. Who was it? It was Neuville and the next car. Neuville had a clear road. So again, it wasn't just saving tyres. It was manipulating road position.
let's move on from here and say that we firmly expect some manipulation, not rule breaking.
No, not rule breaking.
Not even rule bending.
I'm not disagreeing
it's
with any of
playing
it.
within the rules.
It is
me,
understanding the rules and using them to your advantage,
exactly.
which the very best and brightest brains in motorsports have succeeded at doing over the years.
And it should carry on because, it's a chess game, isn't it? It should continue all the time. And if the FA doesn't like it, if the promoter doesn't like it, change the rules.
And
but
this is what
then,
happens.
They
change, they look at the rules, they find the grey areas, they exploit them, and they change them, and it's a constant game. It's a constant game.
It adds genuine intrigue to the whole thing tomorrow.
Totally. I agree with you. A huge day tomorrow, guys, so make sure you don't miss it. We'll be covering all of it. David, what else was there to talk about today?
We have to talk about this. It was developing into something of a war of words between Sébastien Ogier. Made very good point last night that he felt aggrieved that he described the championship, the sport, as amateur, and said that it would remain amateur until it was run in a professional way. Yves Maton this morning made the point to us that he has asked Sébastien Ogier to join him in the WRC's working groups to express these opinions in a more formal way, in what he would say as a constructive way around the table to make his point. And Sebastian's response to that was forthright. And we work for an American company. I think they call it BS, don't they, Colin?
Right.
And then said pure BS. That's his feelings. The thing that kind of got me was when we spoke to Danny Sordo, and Danny's response, because then Ogier had obviously moved the argument along by saying he didn't like the fact that guest drivers could come in.
Calling Danny Sordo a guest driver.
Yeah, but I wonder if Seb really knew the way that he was using that term guest driver.
He hadn't thought of what he was referring to. He wasn't referring to Sordo with that, because they are very good friends. They get on very well.
But inevitably, of course he was. Of course he was. That's it. But I think the term in English perhaps didn't have the connotation that he thought it did. So we then put that to Danny, and Danny said, if he's not happy, then he shouldn't come. He should stay home, watch TV for half the year, in the same way that Danny does. And it developed quite quickly this morning into this big thing. But then this afternoon, it was tremendous because, as you just said, Ogier and Sordo are ex-teammates. For sure, there was Needle at the beginning because, of course, Ogier took Danny's place in the Citroën team. But they have grown into good mates, and it was great to see, that the friendliness between them.
The respect is just massive.
And when Danny called Seb over when we were interviewing him, and they put their arms around each other, and they are good friends. And
I'll tell you what we'll do with that little piece of video
shove it in now.
No, we won't shove it in now.
Really?
But we'll put it up as a separate video. So have a look out for that on our social channels. So it could be on our Facebook channel, it could be on our Twitter channel, it could be on our YouTube channel, it could be on all three.
But could we whiz in a little bit of a cuddle here and show them a little bit of the cuddle? No, I don't want to cuddle you.
Okay, no. We'll make sure that you see that, folks. So have a look, because it was really quite it was a telling moment, and it was reassuring to see that.
Because Danny immediately said, it's very difficult sometimes to contain your emotions when you finish the stage.
He called me a tomato once. So it is,
I can absolutely sympathise with that.
Nice.
I'd call you a rotten tomato.
I've been called all sorts of things, and to be called a tomato by Danny Sordo, that shows how nice the guy is. He could have called me all sorts of things, couldn't he?
Absolutely.
But you're right.
But no, so it's kind of developed, and now they seem to, between them, have taken a little bit of the heat out of it. But the fact remains that Ogier is not happy, and my feeling was definitely that they had a point. He had a point about, is this a short or a long form rally? It's a short form rally in terms of the kilometres, the mileage.
K's, yeah.
But it's a 3-day event. And this was the point that Yves Maton made to me this morning. It's a conventional rally. It's a 3-day rally. I then went away and did the maths. I'm going to baffle you here with some incredible mathematics, which it did take me most of the afternoon to do. So, as we know, they were pushing to get the reseeding done Friday lunchtime.
Yeah, as we did in
Estonia, or Saturday lunchtime on the first day.
Lunchtime on the first day.
So tell me, Colin, because I put you on the spot here.
I'm good at maths.
How many stages would Elfyn Evans have cleaned if they had turned them round at lunchtime on the first day?
Well, probably more than...
Straightforward question. Just
I
give
know
me a
it's a
number.
straightforward question, but I'm thinking because the road cleaning was different here, because you cleaned 2 in the morning.
No. I asked you if they'd reseeded them at lunchtime on the first day, You're looking a bit vacant.
I think it's a trick question.
If they'd reseeded them at lunchtime service on the first day, how many stages would Elvin have cleaned?
2.
Exactly. He would then not have cleaned the afternoon stages. The percentage of cleaning he would have done on this event would have been
50%.
no. It would have been. Use
He
my other
cleaned
pad.
4 stages.
He cleaned 4 stages, but he would have only cleaned 2 stages, and it would have meant 23% of something. Oh, right, Col, I will explain this very simply. It's quite complicated. The first pass of stages, that's where you clean.
Correct.
Okay, so there was something like 120 kilometres.
We're talking percentage of distance now.
Yeah. Of that distance, he would have cleaned 23%.
Right.
In Estonia and in Turkey, the person, championship leader, cleaned 67 and 68% of the cleanable surface.
Wow.
Amazing, isn't it? It took me a long time to do
What we'll
those
do is we'll get a professor to sit down.
Numbers, yeah.
But I get your point.
Yeah.
It's semantics calling it a 3-day event for me.
Yeah, so
it
therefore,
really is.
in terms of the FIA took the right decision, they made the right call. Because even
I'm disagreeing with that.
No, of course they did, because if they turned it around on Friday lunchtime, he would only have cleaned 23%.
Yeah, okay.
And even if he ultimately he still only cleaned 51% cleaning the afternoon stages.
Right, okay. David's going to write an article explaining that. But anyway, that for sure, folks, is an argument that I think will rumble on. Sébastien Ogier has reignited it, and I think it's been reignited because Ogier and the top drivers, to be fair, they thought we've maybe found a solution in Turkey and in Estonia that was well suited. What we won't hear when we get to Turkey is anyone complaining about cleaning first on the road. Because if you're first on the road when we get to Ypres, you will probably win the rally. That would be my... and next year's calendar, who knows what the calendar will be. We've seen it, but who knows what will actually transpire. But it does look as if it's a little more skewed than it has been in the past towards tarmac. So all of this could become irrelevant, but it's given us plenty to talk about. Don't look at me that way.
No, I think we should just whiz back, because one thing we didn't mention about all those numbers was that obviously yesterday on Friday they went out and they did 2 stages and then went straight back into them.
It was an unusual schedule yesterday. Folks, listen, thank you very much. What a day we've had. That's it. My brain is hurting from David's facts and figures. It is not it, clearly. Tomorrow is going to be a massive day. You know, what happens tomorrow, we might be talking about for weeks, if not months. It is one not to miss. We've had these days here before in Sardinia. It tends to throw up last day dramas. Who can forget Oit Tanak's dramas on that final stage here last year? Who can forget 2 years ago that wonderful battle between Neuville and Ogier? Jeez, it's been a long day, it really has. Tomorrow, let's see if Danny Sordo can claim his 3rd victory. Let's see whether or not we see a bit of jiggery pokery, David. It's going to be fascinating. I'm looking forward to it.
And just remind us, Cole, what are you doing just along there tomorrow afternoon?
Well, David thinks I'm jumping into the ocean tomorrow.
Jumping in.
No,
He's
no,
jumping
I'm not.
in.
Folks, thank you very much for joining us at the kitchen table. A big thank you as well to Pirelli for hosting us this evening. The coffee was delightful. We'll see you all for a fascinating final day tomorrow.
And you'll see Colin in the harbour tomorrow, for sure.
In my budgie smugglers. Hey, hey.
Oh my goodness.